When it comes to studying the Bible, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Where do you start? How do you make sense of it? One of the most helpful approaches is called the inductive method. It's simple, it's practical, and it helps you let scripture speak for itself instead of forcing your own ideas into scripture. How's it work? Step one is observation. What does the text actually say? Look for repeated words, themes, or even details. Step two is the interpretation. What does the text mean? This is where we ask what the author intended, not what we think it means, but what the author intended and how the original audience would have understood it. And step three is application. What does this mean for my life today? This is where the word moves from our heads to our hearts. So let's do a quick example. In Revelation 3, Jesus tells the church of Laodicea, "You are neither hot nor cold, but lukewarm." Now, if you take the modern view of this, most people think Jesus is saying, don't be cold towards God, be hot towards Him, or even, I want you to be cold. It's better for you to be cold than it is for you to be lukewarm. It's not what the original audience would have understood. You guys understand, Laodicea didn't have its own water source, right? Their neighbors had hot springs, and also some other neighbors that were close by had cold water. So the point was not about you shouldn't be lukewarm, but you need to be useful. The hot water or the hot springs were used for healing, right? But the cold water was used for refreshing and life-giving, right? It was cooling, right? But the whole point is about being useful. God was saying, I want you useful, similar to the hot springs and the cold waters. I mean, but if you think about it historically, by the time that the waters actually landed in Laodicea, like they were lukewarm. It wasn't cold, but it also wasn't hot. It was useless. So when Jesus says lukewarm, he isn't saying don't be against me. He's saying don't be useless. Be refreshing like cold water or healing like hot water. Just don't be ineffective. That's why interpretation matters. The inductive method helps us to hear the text the way the original audience would have heard it and then apply it to our lives today. And this is the whole beauty of this method is that you don't need a theological degree. All you need is time, attention, and a desire to hear from God. When you study this way, the Bible stops feeling distant and starts feeling alive because you're not just reading words on a page, you're meeting the living God who speaks through them.